Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. All right, welcome to the CWC Podcast, the home for the latest news, rumors, and interviews from around the sport of chuckwagon racing. I am your host, David Selby, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Justin Reed and Andy Horton. And we have Savannah and Producer's Alley today. Side note, before we move on, we're off to a really good start with Savannah. We can actually, it's kind of cool, we can see her on our screens, but you guys, the listeners, cannot. And so we have some little magic tricks that we're doing behind the scenes. We're doing it more professional all the time. And Savannah's taking us to the next level. She is establishing an editing workflow. If you guys have been keeping a pulse on social media over the last week, you would have seen a couple of videos come out for the Sparkman race, which we're going to this weekend. And those have had insanely good traction on social media across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and beyond. So it's really cool to see content already flowing. She's already up to speed on stuff, and we get to go do our first race this weekend. So excited to have her here, rocking out on videos and socials. I can tell it's going to be a good year. Okay, we have a big show today. We will be talking about this weekend's Cowcutter Chuckwagon race in Sparkman, Arkansas. If you are wanting an inside look at the weather, you're in the right place. Later on the show, we're going to have Julie Pennington and Kourtney Lee weigh in on the races this weekend, but also speak on the new youth formats for the Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing Association. This has been a hot topic, especially at the annual meeting if you were there in January, and we're going to see how they're putting that newest version into practice. Lastly, we're going to hit on the matchups for this weekend as they have been posted by the ACWRA. It's going to be a big week to be a race fan, so stick around. It's all coming up on the CWC Podcast. What's up, guys?
Nothing. Just been busy,
Yeah,
living life. What about yourself?
Man, I bet you've had to get some of those like screen reader glasses since you've been doing this meteorology lately. all that screen time probably just drying the eyeballs out, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that time of year,
Yeah, no exceptions.
We're going to have to get some information here in a minute because apparently it could just anything could happen in my neck of the woods tonight. So I've got people saying, hunker down and take cover. And then I've got them saying, it may not happen at all. And there's a cap, but if the cap breaks, then, oh my goodness, here we go, so I don't know what to do.
It's nice to have a friend who can predict the future though.
Oh.
And it's mind-blowing that we didn't already know this until like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so, I knew this because I was paying attention in our live shows when we were at Clinton, and he was very certain and he was very correct. So, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there that there were signs.
Yeah. Why do you know so much about the weather, man? Kind of weird, but okay, cool.
Exactly.
Interesting thing that happened for me today. Actually, before I get to that, I want to ask, how's your March Madness basketball bracket looking? Anybody? I know, Andy, you probably didn't fill one out, but Justin?
No, I didn't.
I didn't fill one out.
You were pushing for Mississippi, but
yeah, they had a bad game and they just lost barely, but I would say the big upset for the majority of these listeners was probably the Razorbacks. They were that Cinderella team that was supposed to go all the way, 10th seed, never seen, and then all of a sudden, but it happens. It happens.
Well, they ran into a Big 12 team known as Texas Tech, and which is also where KU tends to play all of their games, is in the Big 12. But we did get knocked off by Arkansas in round one, and lo and behold, you look back a little bit on this year's schedule, and Duke, who's in the Final Four, did lose to KU earlier in the season. So just throwing it out there, but yeah, I really thought Arkansas was going to do it, and I watched that Texas Tech game. I watched a bunch of it, went and put my kid to bed. He took forever to fall asleep, came back into the living room. That game was still going. And then they go to overtime, which Arkansas never should have been in overtime.
No.
They were winning by like 10 points with a couple minutes left and 3-pointers, man. And then it was like, here we go. They're in overtime. And then who has the momentum? It's Texas Tech. And yep, too bad for Arkansas, but it was cool to see them make a little run. And Sweet 16, right? That's where they went out. So that's, it doesn't maybe feel like it's a deep, deep run, but if you're playing in the third game of the NCAA tournament. You're never going to forget that. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was going to share, I had an interesting phone call today. I talked to a Canadian Chuckwagon racer. He's a professional Chuckwagon racer on the phone. And, not just on the phone, but in real life. And his name is Darwin Casacchio. I think I'm saying that right. And he saw some of our stuff on Facebook, speaking of Savannah's content out there. And he reached out and sent me a message.
Cool.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, well, why don't we just connect? Because I'd love to have somebody, talk a little bit more about Canadian Chuckwagon racing, which is funny because I recently Savannah had approached me about that too. We were just talking about like what could we do to talk to somebody or bridge the gap there, which I don't know that we can go and cover Canadian Chuckwagon races because it's a bit of a drive. But it would be cool just to kind of have somebody on the show and talk to them. And honestly, before I got on the phone with him, I was like, man, I wonder if he's going to think that we're just like a bunch of rednecks and our version of Chuckwagon is stupid or something. But he got on the phone with me and he was just like, yeah, the racing that we have up here is heavily regulated, which if I was doing his accent, you'd be like, this guy is a hoot because he's got a really heavy northern accent.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
and he was really fun to talk to. He was honestly, he cusses more than Justin does. He cusses like an absolute sailor. It was great. I just like, this guy's got to come on the show. Anyways, he said he was like, the stuff that we do in the wide open looks like a hell of a good time. Like the way we race on an open track and everything. And he said, their season runs pretty much from like June to August, but they wrap up on like August 17th ish. And so there might be a chance that we could talk this guy into coming down to Clinton and experience the national championships.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
He sounded like he sounded kind of serious about it. Like I was like, well, let's get you on the show and let's keep the conversation going. But he was like, yeah, I'd love to come down and hop in a wagon. He said my horses are like insane. They're really expensive. I bought them off the racetrack, et cetera, et cetera. He said his front two horses are 16 hands and his back two horses are 18 hands.
Wow.
And they're just gigantic. And he said there's no way he's bringing those down there to run on like a basically a not regulated track. I mean,
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
But he said that if he could get into a wagon or somebody would lend him horses or something like that, he said he'd be all about it. And I was like, we should talk about this more because you can actually show up to the national championships and rookie in if you play your cards right. And that would be so cool. I think it would be a really cool story to cover too.
Yeah.
With season 3 of the Great Wagon Race, small plug there. So, yeah, I just told him we need to get him on the podcast, and I've got him penciled in 4 weeks from now. And
awesome.
Yeah, that dude's hilarious, man. I was like, you'll have to dial it down a little bit for the show, though. Okay. That's great. All right. So if you want to be here in 4 weeks to catch that, make sure you get over and subscribe to the Chuckwagon channel on chuckwagonchannel.com. It's $11 a month or $99 a year. Don't forget that we have season 2 of the Great Wagon Race now streaming on there. So go check it out. We've got a lot of good stuff coming up. All right. News and notes. If you've been here the last couple weeks, you've known the show has taken a small turn. We now have a segment about weather, and we call it Precipitating Profanity with Justin Reed. And it's pretty much gone viral. It's pretty much brought our ratings up to unimaginable levels. And the producers have told us that we need to create another show off of it, like a spinoff. And so we're going to be trying to take steps to help Justin leverage his weather forecasting and analysis through another channel here pretty soon. But until then, what is going on this weekend? What are we looking forward to as we head to Sparkman, Arkansas? Justin.
Yeah. So Wednesday, of course, it's supposed to be a pretty big day for Arkansas. Tuesday, we've got Oklahoma, Kansas, a little bit of Texas linked in, northwest Missouri, that is going to expect a lot of rain, wind gusts, some hail, and even like Andy was saying earlier, there is a cap. And if that cap does break through and allows more cape, then basically what that entails is just tornadic weather. Those elements there for tornadoes. Anyways, as we move into Wednesday, that weather that in Oklahoma on Tuesday will push in somewhere around mid-evening time is when it will start. I could see the very first line of storms coming through, probably in between 3 and 6 p.m. They may be tornadic just because there's that warm weather there. But once those storms move in or move through, then we could possibly see very large amounts of rainfall, some thunderstorms, things like that. But it is planning on raining from Wednesday through Sunday. Now, what does that mean? Could mean flash flooding, could mean a lot of things. But let's talk a little bit about the National Weather Service just put out a new weather rainfall map, and we're just going to show that real quick. Now, some areas could possibly get 2 inches, but some areas could get upwards of 15 inches. So we're going to take a quick look at the National Weather Service rainfall analysis map, what they are forecasting as the rainfall amounts for certain parts of Arkansas out of National Weather Service out of Little Rock. So down here is Dallas County. This is the new one that they just put out. Yesterday's had a lot more rain for this area, but you're looking somewhere in between the 3 and 4 inch and the 6 and 8 inch. I would say is going to be that. Now, that's not just one day. It's over the entire rest of the week. But like I said, could get 2 inches. Could get, now they're saying up to 8 inches, possibly. Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but it is a possibility. Weather changes all the time, so things can change. But I will be the first to keep you updated.
What were the days? What were the day ranges for that? Was that
That
for
was
a week
Wednesday through Sunday?
Through Sunday. Okay.
Yep.
So it's possible, as far as like racing goes, if it's not like dumping and storming, at least we're not in trouble of not racing. It's just a matter of, hey, the ground's more saturated and whatnot.
So, I mean, on Saturday, we've got some scattered showers for that area. Now, scattered showers meaning you could have periods of time where there is a lot of rainfall, but you could have period of time where there's no rainfall or even some mist sprinkles. Those are all possibilities. The way the models are showing, which the models are not a forecast, they're just models. But the way they are showing, they are saying that area will be sometime between the mid-morning hours and the evening hours. But like I said, these things change all the time. The closer we get to the day, the more we will know, the more that we will be able to see. So things change. Obviously I will keep you up to date as the week progresses. And sorry about the dogs, but
it's okay. We love the dog. You should just bring the dog on the show.
Yeah, no.
The more we go in on deeper on your life, Justin, the more I realize it all needs to be on screen. So if you would just bring the dog, at least put the dog in the background so we can see the dog. But
let me tell you something, okay? Just one last thing before I give it over to David is no matter what the rainfall is, as he talked about with the Canadian, all these racers, guess what? They're too stupid to stop. Okay?
Oh, man.
So.
Oh, that's true. And also, to give a little bit more confidence to everybody, the way, if you've been out there, you've seen this track kind of sits on a bit of a hump, and Michael Berry specifically had mentioned, this is the host for the Sparkman race. He said, I'm quoting, I've had several people ask about the ground. If it rains, we have 3 to 6 inches of topsoil and then 30 to 40 feet of sandy gravel under that, and live on one of the highest hills in the area. If you drive and park sensibly, there should be limited issues. So yeah, don't drive all over the racetrack when you come in. And I think that based on the way this place sits, if it's not completely dumping rain, I'm going to bet you it runs off very quickly on this track. And it is a fast track, and I can tell you if it is wet, it's going to be a little slippery, and fast teams are going to be sliding around that curve. But yeah, I think it just makes it fun, and that's one thing I love about the people and the Chuckwagon racing community is they're no stranger to real life things that are happening with weather. and they're going to face it as it comes, and we're going to be there capturing it as it comes. So we're going to be there. Don't let it detract from your plans this weekend. Just make sure you've got an umbrella. Make sure you've got a little track tent. Make sure you've got a way to, get out of the elements when that time comes, if it comes. And otherwise, just plan on getting a little wet. It's not going to be cold. That's one thing that I was looking at. It's not going to be cold, right, Justin?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it will. They'll have a cold front that comes in, but it's not gonna be like winter. It's gonna be 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe. So,
and is that later in the day, Saturday?
Yeah, that's afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least it'll be chilly. It looks like it'll be chilly Saturday night. And then Sunday, lower chance of rain from what I've seen. And so who knows? Maybe it's going to actually pan out to be perfect. I think we can all manifest our own destiny there just a little bit. Think good thoughts, say some good prayers, throw it up, and hopefully we'll just have a great weekend. We will be there.
Well, and Chuckwagon racers and Chuckwagon racing fans should be no stranger to rain anyway, because very seldom do you have an entire Chuckwagon race week and it doesn't rain at some point during that week.
Yeah, or just do something. Yeah, it's
right.
It's part of it. It's honestly, I think it's part of the memories, and it makes it interesting. And yeah, maybe you have a couple of maybe you have a little bit of struggle or you have to overcome something, but that's part of the journey is what makes it so fun. And you look back on it and you're like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was great. We do have a big show today, so we're going to go ahead and get into our main content. Let's welcome our special guests for today. Are they ready, Savannah? Okay, welcome Julie Pennington and Kourtney Lee, both ACWRA staff. These guys are the youth division coordinators. Kourtney has done a lot of timing in her day, but she's also a racer, and you can see her competing in the 46-inch ponies for Bent Shank Ranch. Check out the hat here. They have sponsored our show before, and Julie is the board member who runs the buckboard division, and Julie's family races across several divisions, and they're usually flying under the Outlaws banner. Does that sound about right, Julie?
Yes, that's it.
Amongst other things, probably. But welcome, you guys. How are you today?
I'm good.
Great.
Finally
How
off
are
spring
y'all?
break.
Oh man, we're good. So Julie, tell me, so where are you coming from here so everybody knows who's watching? Where are you at right now? What's going on?
I am in my office. This is the only quiet place in my house. I live with a bunch of boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I always wonder for you. I'm like, I wonder when did it become apparent that you were just going to be stuck as we're a Chuckwagon racing family. That's what we do.
Well, that started a long time ago. Our first time we ever went to Clinton, and Wade and I sat up on that bluff and watched those races. And I said, I want to do that. And he did too. So a friend of ours wanted to do it with us. So that's what got us started.
That's how it happens.
Yep. You get hooked, and then sure enough. And I can think back a couple of years ago, and 2022, I ended up just by happenstance, you guys were in that Exaga tent when we had everybody down there, and we ended up interviewing you and Wade and Jagger. You were in the tent there, and we had a cool interview. I knew of you guys. I had seen you around, but I remember doing that interview there is where the spark was kind of ignited there a little bit for us. Kourtney, so tell us, where are you at today? What's going on in your life right now?
I am in my room, locked the door. We have a house. We have a tiny tornado, and we have a house full of dogs. So I've already instructed those to be put outside because they like to. This dog that likes to make a lot of noise actually came from a Chuckwagon race. He was a stray, and I took him home.
Okay.
But I just got off work, freshly back from spring break. So I'm teaching and locked away right now.
Well, how are you guys feeling going towards this this weekend? You know, what's kind of what's all the hype and the fuss, and what are you guys hearing as ACWRA members right now?
Everybody is excited about it. The rain, I don't know. I'll be there.
Yeah, that was kind of the same thing. I got a message earlier, and they were like, "Have you heard anything about this race?" And I'm like, "I see what y'all see."
Right.
But I know people are worried about the weather coming in. But I know that if it happens, and it should, like the race, it'll be a great one. I got a place in my heart. It's the first place I ever raced, and so I'm super excited to see what they've done and what they've cleared out for all of us. And but all I've heard is excitement. So,
Julie, how's the whole family feeling about racing this weekend? Is everybody going to be there?
Yeah, yes, everybody's ready for a mud fest. We're used to it though.
It happens.
It's part of it. So I did have a couple of questions. So, Julie, I'm hearing things through the grapevine. What's going on with you guys' team this year? I heard that the Big Mules team might be restructuring things just a little bit. What's going on there?
As the Big Mules team, we are kind of letting our number one team take a break. So we had a new team we started racing last year. Wade and I was racing it. Well, JD and Lamont Blankenship are swapping out driving and outriding. One race, one drive, another outride, and vice versa at the next race. And I'm their cook. So I got out of the driver's seat with the Big Mules, and this is something new for them. They have never drove in any of the races. They both started out as cooks, as little kids, and they've cooked and outrode, but they've never drove in a race. So this will be new for them.
I'm curious to know, so how old are those guys now? And just for clarity, so JD is your son and Lamont is his best buddy, right? And so tell me a little bit about their age and their history.
Gosh, they have grown up together probably since they were 3 years old. They've been buddies. Lamont is 17 this year. He'll be 18 on into the season. And JD, he just turned 18.
Right there. And so they are coming into their adult years just about here, and they've got more experience than a lot of people do that are out there racing. And
definitely.
Every time you see those guys out there outriding, you don't really question that they're going to make it catch. They're cowboys. They get it done.
They are. They worked really hard to get where they're at. They practiced at home, and they started when they're about 14. We start letting them outride. Lamont may have been a couple of years younger than that the first time he ever did. But, yeah, they started out really young racing with adults. Back then, we didn't have a youth division. And so they were like 6 and 7 years old when they started cooking for us in our wagons. And they would race all divisions that we raced. And back then, we brought a lot more teams than we do now. So, yeah. They got broke in right.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's cool, and it's cool to know that you guys are working directly with the youth divisions this year. I know that there are some changes. Kourtney, to kind of back up just a little bit, going back to the annual meeting, what changed from last year to this year, and why was that?
So at the meeting, the banquet, we had announced that we were going to change the age division. And there were some concerns, and they were voiced, and that was, that's what we needed to know. We were trying to make it more fair across the board. And so once we saw and heard the concerns, we put our heads together, and I created a form. And I had all parents so far that have any interest of putting their kid in the youth to fill that form out. And that way I could kind of get a gauge of the ranges of ages. And we created some age brackets. And I told them, I said, just go ahead and even if they're 14, sign them up so that I know what we're working with. And we were able to make an age bracket of 8 and under. And we have an age bracket from 9 to 14. A lot of people wanted that 14 to stay. And with what was signed up, it makes sense and we can do it. We also have changed the way that we start. Used to, there was a running start, and we're still allowing that, but there was no way to kind of, I'm not going to say police that, but like set that in stone. So we, again, discussed it, and we are going to put a starting line back away from the official start line for the youth. I think it's 15 foot back
feet from the starting line.
And so the team, the parent, child, whoever can bring the team up to that line. And when they get the nod and, everything's good to go, they'll nod and they'll take off from that 15-foot starting line. And then when they cross the actual start line, that's when the gun will get shot and their time starts.
Gotcha. So that kind of mitigates the ability to be like really firing through there a little too quick to start.
And it just kind of evens the playing field. That was what we were trying to do.
Yeah, makes sense. Did you guys get some pushback on that, or does that seem like that was pretty well welcomed as a new rule?
I didn't hear anything on that.
No, everybody's been fine with that.
Yeah, it seems like it was more the division structure that you guys had originally presented at the meeting that maybe came under a little bit of attack. What has changed since the meeting when you guys first rolled that out, and why is that?
Do you want to answer? Or do you want me to answer?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the main thing was when Kourtney did the list to see how many kids we had potentially coming to race. That's the main concern, because in some races we may not have very many kids racing. So we were trying to get the parents committed. Hey, bring your kids. Let's build it. Let's build it and make it a big thing. And we had a big number sign up. So I'm just really excited to see all these kids show up at the races throughout the season. We also moved that youth division to be after the buckboard this year to help bring some more recognition to our youth instead of leaving it at the end.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. A little bit of a pain point there. I know, gosh, I think back to a couple of these races where it's like, okay, it's time to get the kids out here, and there's probably a little bit of a lull, people are finishing up and they get the kids coming out there, and you start seeing some vehicles start pulling out of there, which if there's going to be a single time during the entire race day that you don't want vehicles coming through the racetrack creating a hazard, it's definitely when your kids are getting ready to run through there. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes sense for like the run of show to just be a little bit more smooth, and it honors the kids a little bit too. It puts them right in the middle of the performance, and then you still have something really fun to watch with the big mules and the classic as some of the most exciting divisions when you come back off of that. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Right.
Anything else this year with the kids, with the youth in particular, that we can look forward to that's maybe different, or anything that you're kind of excited to see?
Well, we have secured 2 really great sponsors that have sent us some awesome stuff that we haven't had before. We also have all of the track owners agreeing to provide prizes for the youth on both age brackets, which is amazing.
Yes. Kudos to them. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. That's been a huge help for us. We also have, we're planning some like activities that like to build knowledge and teamwork, and just overall growing like their knowledge of each other, of their team, of how to do things the right way. All those things. Like we have something at each race planned for them.
Right.
Julie and I have agreed that we'll take a side by side and we'll go round them up. We'll go do whatever we have to do to like get them involved, like either, Saturday morning or Friday night. And we're really wanting to grow this, and we're really wanting to get the kids, just their overall like abilities just improve, and confidence, things like that.
Yeah. I love that there's a lot of attention on the youth going on right now. I love that there's a focus there, because I think that it's important for like the longevity of the sport and the culture really too. And so, how do you guys feel when you look at where the youth division is now, maybe compared to last year's, and how you feel like it's going to be going into the future? How do you feel like, what's the temperature reading on that right now?
Julie?
I feel good about it.
I want to do all the talking.
The youth division always needed a committee. I always felt like, and Jana did an awesome job, but she did it by herself, and she needed help. And whenever I asked her, when I asked the board about doing something different with the youth, they're like, okay, Julie, there you go ahead, and I wanted Jana to stay on, but I'm sure she's so busy and she helps the association in so many other ways that she is really needed there. So I'm so glad Kourtney come on. I couldn't have handled it without Kourtney coming on to help too. She has been a blessing.
Yeah.
Question.
So Kourtney, what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
get
go ahead.
in there, Justin. No, you go ahead.
I want to hear Justin.
All
Yeah.
right. So
say some cuss words or something, Justin.
No, not when we're talking about the youth division. Are you
Never
effing
stopped you
crazy?
before.
Anyways, so are you still looking for donations, or is that something that's kind of subsided because you have the awards being presented by the owners of the track and the sponsors, or are you still needing those donations?
We still have the year-end awards.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a whole lot more kids now for year-end awards than before with the 2 separate age groups. So yes, still needing those donations. And there's been several things come up. Jagger is selling raffle tickets on a rooster. Just different, whatever we can come up with to help get these kids some awards for the end of the year.
And just for clarity, if you win the rooster, you take it home with you, right?
Right.
And that's at the end of the year? Okay.
Huh.
Just trying to decide if...
David's trying to get a rooster.
Well, I'm trying to decide if I think it would actually be more fun to donate it to somebody after I win it. And I'm just trying to decide who that would be.
Well, he is going to tote this rooster around to all the races and tame him down for you.
Hey, I guarantee
incredible.
you that you live in Nixa. No, you live in Nevada.
Oh, yeah, Nevada. Yeah,
Nevada. Okay, I
yeah.
guarantee you the city limits allow you to have a rooster.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And
His wife probably does not.
It's and funny enough, Justin, my wife is on city council, and if
that's
she
perfect.
And if she were to hear you say that, she would instantly take it to the council, and it'd be outlawed. So I'd have to secretly have a rooster that we keep in the woods behind the house, which would be kind of fun,
That's a fair point. So real quick before I leave it over, so for those who are interested in donating money to the youth, how would they go about doing that? Are there like PayPal or whatever?
Kourtney, you have that info.
So we have been having, we've had checks sent. We've had things like that. I've directed all of those things to Julie. She is an amazing woman who takes care of all of those things. She's very organized. She's used to running her business. And so they can PayPal and things like that, but we've not had that yet, other than they've been sent to like the secretary who then sends them to us. So, I try to get everything to Julie. That way it's all in one place.
Awesome. And Kourtney, I did want to give you the floor to kind of answer that question too. What's your temperature reading on youth division, where it's at now, how it's looking going forward?
So I agree with Julie. I think Jana did a fantastic job. I think that she had a lot on her plate with this, and it has opened our eyes big time because, Julie and I talk all the time. We're always putting our heads together. We have all these ideas and all these things, and, we're contacting all these people. I think that it is growing. I think that it's going to be one of the best years yet for the youth. I was astounded when I saw how many people had signed their kids up, and there were kids that I sit on the timing line. And so like, I know the names of most of these kids, and there was kids that I've never, heard of before. And that to me speaks volumes. That's amazing. Yeah. And so I think it's starting to boil, and it's about to boil over. Like, it's doing awesome. So I'm excited.
I love that it's there for us to go and capture it. I think that it's going to be fun to tell those stories. I think it'll be fun to look back years from now and have these kids, having the footage. That's part of what I do, is to be able to look back and say, hey, there's memories from when those guys were much younger, and you look back 17 years ago at the national championships in Clinton, and there's kids now. There's people that are grown up now, and people I would have interviewed when they were little, and it's so cool to see that stuff. So I'm excited for that, for the ACWRA. I do want to, between you guys and us, this doesn't have to go out anywhere else, but I think really going forward, every year at the annual meeting, you should throw in some really bogus change that doesn't fly at all, that pisses everybody off.
We're going to say we're going to do fireworks for the youth.
Yeah. Or something that really just says yep, can't do this anymore because we don't have the funds, or something that makes everybody mad. And then they'll all go and raise all this money. And then the youth division will do kind of like what it did this year and get massive reform. And then it'll be even bigger than the adult divisions. It'll be great.
Well, and it's funny that you say that. This doesn't have to go on there unless you want it to, but
oh, yeah, it's going on.
People were saying tell us how much you need. Tell us how much you need. And it made awareness. And yes, it wasn't a comfortable moment. Don't get me wrong, but saying that it has brought so much attention to the youth. We have so many racetracks and people that are doing things at their races that they're contributing to the youth, auctions and different gate things, like the admission or whatever it is, during the events at the race, not their actual gate admission. But it has drawn awareness that, hey, this is a part that this is the future of our sport. And so
absolutely
donate to that and grow that, because it's going to keep building upon itself. So while yes, that was a hard conversation at the banquet, it did open the eyes of everybody. And we've seen what has come from that. So,
Yep. It was, it's been cool to see that arc from there to now, and how it really does feel like there's a lot of good stuff going on right now with the association, with the sport. I feel like when you look around, I think that in the past, maybe there was a lull, and not necessarily a bad thing, but there was maybe a period of time where it was kind of some things were just the way they were because that's how they are, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's we don't change the rules. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, about a lot of things. And it's been cool over these last couple of years to see how the mindset has changed to be more of a growth mindset, and even to be thinking about sustainability. And so that's been awesome. And it excites me to see you guys heading off the youth divisions, especially with you guys having kids of your own, and it's a special place in your own heart, I'm sure, to be involved with this. So we appreciate you guys and what you're doing. I know that you're probably not getting paid a whole lot of money to do all of this, but we do appreciate you, and all that stuff is going to pay off.
I see Julie laugh. We don't get paid to do this at all. We just do it because we like it. And we're a little crazy.
That's our pay. It's the satisfaction.
Listen, next time somebody says that you how much money you need, just tell them $10,000.
Yeah,
that's it.
We can't always just say it's not possible.
It's not about how much you need. It's we need it.
Yep.
We'll do with what we get. We'll do what we can.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, it's pretty awesome. We're excited for you guys. We're looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend.
I won't be there.
Rain or shine, you won't be there.
You knew this. I won't be there.
What? Well,
no. How are we supposed to know?
Wade is starting.
You must see something coming. Is there going to be a tornado, Justin? Is there something we don't know?
Yes. There's something you don't know. Tornado's just going to pop right up on your house.
I'm going to have my drone in the air for that one. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, Julie and Kourtney, we really appreciate you guys coming on the show. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Thanks for doing what you do for the sport of chuckwagon racing. We're going to let you go. Just hit that leave button right there at the bottom of your screen, and we will see you guys this weekend. And leave your web browsers open.
Yeah, you should have said something before they clicked off.
It's okay. We'll just.
Oh, that's funny.
It'll be all right. It's in their computer. The files are in the box. They're in the computer. That is exciting stuff. it is heartwarming to talk about the youth. It's heartwarming to hear about the love and the care that goes into the youth divisions, the thought that goes into it. Yeah, I think that what's been a little bit harder to organize in the past, I think it's just getting a lot better right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Well, without further ado, let's get into the matchups. And I just want to read through these and make sure that everybody gets their name mentioned here. There's going to be some good lineups, good matchups this weekend, and I'm excited to see them rain or shine. So I'm going to just kick it off. For Sparkman, the Cowcutter races, starting it off with Big Horse Rubber Tire. This should be in order of how the show will go as well. So Heat 1, Freight Train going against County Line Bunch. Heat 2, Haywire versus Flatlanders. Heat 3, Badly Bent versus BS Racing. Heat 4, High Low, Hard and Fast versus Trump Train. And then we'll have a bye run in Heat 5 with Total Chaos.
Yeah, 46 Mules have Heat 1, Trump Train against Ain't Scared. And Heat 2 is a bye run of Sue's Pond.
Love that.
And 46-inch ponies. Got Heat 1, Bent Shank Ranch versus Too Stupid to Stop. Heat 2, Derek Hands versus Western Junkies. Heat 3, Outlaws versus Wild Ones. Heat 4, Down Bad versus Out of Nowhere. Heat 5, is that FSR Pony Edition?
Mm-hmm.
That looks to be a bye run.
Yep.
And then Heat 6 is Freight Train. Okay. My bad. And Split
like
Decision.
I did that.
Sounds like
I did that at Clinton, I think, for the Clinton race.
Oh, did you?
Well,
Awesome.
for the Clinton race, when we were calling them out, I think I did FR8, and I was like, what the heck
train.
kind of...
Oh.
If you
Very
speed it up
clever.
a little bit, it maybe sounds like you said it.
And Heat 7 is Hell's Bells Hot Flash versus Stampede.
I don't know if that's a time of the month thing or if that's a woman getting older kind of thing.
That has got to have something to do with Amanda. Oh, we'll have to ask her about it.
Oh, man. Some good ones there in that. Good matchups there. 52 Ponies. Heat 1, bye run with Triple J. Heat 2, Bumblebees versus Trump Train. Heat 3, Outlaws versus Half-Breed. Heat 4, Full Throttle versus Shooting Blanks. Heat 5, Derek Hands versus Fast Cattle.
52 Mules. Heat 1, Trump Train number 1. Sue's Pond number 1. Heat 2, Bob's Babes and Coming Undone. And Heat 3, Trump Train number 2, Sue's Pond number 2.
And we got Buckboard. Heat 1, Full Throttle Loca. There's a fast team. Versus Rarin' to Go. Heat 2, Freight Train. See, I got it right that time. Versus Shooting Blanks. Heat 3, Full House versus LA Hot Sauce. Heat 4 is Triple J. That's a bye run.
I wonder if it's supposed to be Louisiana Hot Sauce, but there just wasn't space on the paper.
It probably is. You can ask Jeff. That's his team.
All right, here we go. We're going into the youth. Ponies 8 and under, ages 8 and under for the ponies. Here we go. Outlaws, Jagger Pennington, Bent Shank Ranch, Riley Pillow, Going Nuts number 1, Wade Nut, Going Nuts number 2, Delilah Nut, Going Nuts number 3, Tulsa Nut, Too Stupid to Stop, Suede Wiles. Ponies 9 through 14 age range, Hell's Bells, Hot Flash, Jace Howard. Split Decision, Austin Pruitt, FSR Pony Edition, Ava Beatty, Mules 8 and under, Trump Train, Riley Pillow. Looks like you're going to have that one to yourself there. Mules 9 to 14, Ain't Scared, Austin Pruitt, Outriders 8 and under, Jagger Pennington, and Tulsa Nut. Outriders 9 through 14, Jace Smotherman, Ava Beatty, Austin Pruitt, Big Mules, Heat 1. Here we go. Let's get back into the. Oh, I'm gonna give you this one, Justin. Go ahead, Big Mules.
Heat 1, Diamond S Express against the Outlaws. What's funny about that division right there, or that heat, is Diamond S Express's mules came from the Penningtons. So
and they'll be racing against them, who are the Outlaws.
Heat 2, Diesel Donkeys and Total Chaos. Heat 3, Sue's Pond and Flatlanders. And Heat 4 is a bye run, Going Nuts.
And then we got classics. And Heat 1, the County Line Bunch versus the Trump Train. Heat 2, Rafter G versus believe that says BS Racing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so that wraps it up on the lineups, the matchups for this weekend. So right off the top of you guys' heads, reading through these names, what are you noticing about this year?
There's some new team names.
That was exactly what I was looking for. I'm seeing some new names, which is always fun to see what people come up with.
Definitely got some new blood.
Yeah.
Skeered. It's Skeered.
Skeered. Yeah. I like
That's
it.
funny. A couple of notes that I had made. It seems like so BS Racing, that's that classic team. They've got a new team of grays. A couple of notes to take there. They'll race in the big horse and the big horse rubber tire and the classic, and they normally are running those pretty roans. So it'll be interesting to see if they split them up, if they bring them all, if they run them separate, what they do there. Stan Grizzle, you guys may remember the big wreck down there at Clinton for Rafter G this last year in the classic. Well, he has a new wagon because that old one looks like it got hit by one of Justin's tornadoes. And it completely destroyed their wagon. So he'll be rolling out a new wagon. So that'll be fun to see. Wild Ones called out Julie Pennington in the 46 ponies. So that'll be fun one to watch. 52-inch ponies. Paul Bega, he called out Full Throttle. That'll be a fun one to watch. These are ones that I just kind of caught today. Fast Cattle called out in the 52-inch ponies to go against. I guess they did that to go against someone fast. They wanted to going against fast team there. Oh, and another note that I took down, that FSR that you were trying to sound out there, Andy, that stands for 50 Shades Racing.
Ah, okay.
And that's 50 Shades Racing Pony Edition. And I think that's Ashley, who was normally Julie's cook. So. And then, and then we heard about it from Julie, but JD will be driving off and on with Lamont this year for the Outlaws. So that'll be kind of cool to see how those guys approach how they go about their business in the big mules. It'll be a lot of fun. But the cool thing about the first race of the year, nobody knows who has what unless they've been really, really talking.
A first race of the year, everybody's winning right now. So. Yeah. You don't know.
The weather could very well be a factor this weekend, so that makes it doubly exciting. Regardless, we're going to be there to capture the story. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I have is, weather-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay safe. Be weather aware. Continue to check all the updates. And then Saturday, there is a chance of some severe weather popping up. So just be aware of that. And I'll keep you updated. Yep. I'll post videos on YouTube, and be going on live on YouTube most likely.
Yeah, and pay attention. We can share that link too over to the podcast page. So heads up, and if you just want to message him directly, that's fine too. We don't mind you blowing up his phone. So
yeah, I've already had some messages and calls today. So
good. Well,
nice.
Pretty soon it'll be a full-fledged business, and we'll finally have we'll have an actual revenue stream.
Wait a second now.
Now the truth comes out.
Yeah.
That's been the angle the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, next week we're going to be back in action with some follow-up from the Sparkman race. Hopefully it's all good news. So make sure you are here and tuning in. The hope and the goal right now is to have Danny Foster and the lovely Miss Teresa, or Miss TT from Seven Springs Lodge down there in Tuscumbia, Alabama, on as our guests. And we will start taking a look at the next point race of the season. So exciting stuff. Make sure you subscribe and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in and supporting what we do. And we will see you out on the track.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.